investments was with a guy named David Lee, who came to me and said he wanted to start a company with a daisy wheel printer. Well, I had no idea what that was. And they said, well, you know, the IBM Selectric has that golf ball sort of printer, typewriter, and I'm going to replace that. Well, I thought that was it was a very popular typewriter at the time. And he was from China, had come over to Silicon Valley, worked for another company that we had backed called Diablo in the disk drive field. And this daisy wheel printer idea was to have a very light plastic circular disc that had on the edges the alphabet, and it would go either left or right because it had a computer in it, which was sort of novel in those days. And anyway, David started a company called Cume, Q-U-M-E. David made a lot of money on Cume. We made a lot of money with Cume. And Selectric typewriter you don't see anymore because this was really the first, in a way, it was first word processing. So then I happened to be president of the Harvard Business School Association here in San Francisco at the time, and I said, you know, we should have a dinner and honor the Entrepreneur of the Year. And there was at that time about a board of 4 people, and we had our dinners, and there were about 24 people that would come to the dinner. And so we did this and honored him because I said, it was my idea, so I said, and I got a great idea for the man who I think is the Entrepreneur of the Year, David Lee, Chinese background. And that was, I got to tell you this story. I told him to park in the Bohemian Garage in San Francisco. We were meeting at the Bohemian Club at that time. And he parked there. He and his wife and me and my wife walked down to get our cars, and they said, I'm sorry, Mr. Lee, your car's been stolen. He had a brand new BMW. He was so proud of it. He paid for it with a little of the money that he made in it. And man, I was shocked. I've never heard of a garage saying that your car was stolen. They drove it down the ramp there, and I don't know if you know the garage, but I don't park there anymore. But anyway, now Harvard Business School gives a dinner once a year for the Entrepreneur of the Year. Of course, on this big list of them, and they print the list every year, is Facebook and Google and Twitter and, you know, all of them. And there are now, you know, that was probably, I hate to say it, maybe 40 years ago. And at the very first is Cume. And so I'm very proud of that investment, but I'm very proud of David Lee, and I'm very proud of America when it encourages immigrants to come to this country, particularly brainy ones like David. And they have done so much for this country, and we're a country of immigrants, and it sometimes gets overlooked as to how important. A lot of people in the middle, you know, in the middle of Washington say, oh, well, they're taking jobs away from our good old American employees. And the truth is, 1 out of every 2 companies that were started in Silicon Valley had at least 1 immigrant in the starting team. And the creation of jobs just out of Silicon Valley has been astronomical compared to the number of jobs that immigrants have taken away from other domestic employees. So hats off and thank you for suggesting that.
Great. And you've heard of Skype and Baidu. They worked out really well. They weren't immigrants, but they were not American. But Adam's got a story.
Okay. I thought you were going to go into it. Yeah, so actually, I'm on the board of a company. It's called Ender's Game, and he is a Korean, and he's actually the reason I'm doing what I'm doing now. He came to me, and we started a really good relationship at my first company called Expert Financial, and he came to me. He was trying to build this stock market game where you invest fake money so that you can create some form of a track record, so that and he was trying to raise money. He actually turned down money from my dad because the company was in turmoil, and they were trying to. It was a good thing that he turned down money because he wasn't sure where he was going to be in the next 2 months. But then I worked with him over the next 2 years, or a year. Now it's been 4 years, but okay. So then it's been 1 year to build out a plan to build something called Wall Street the Game, and he was really passionate about this idea. It has since transformed into a studio that develops really, really fun asynchronous games. And he has, the influence he has had on my life was that I found what I love to do, which is help passionate people do what they love, and I created that into a career over the course of that time. He was the first person I had helped come up with their idea, build product, and raise capital. So if I have anyone to thank, it is him for
And actually, immigrants were leaders in parametric technology, Tesla.
These are your investments.
Yeah. Skype and Baidu were outside. Pretty much all of our big successful investments were led by someone from outside the U.S.
Thank you, and I think that's as you can tell, this talk can go all day, and we really appreciate that at least we could capture you for this treasure full 40 minutes. And we have the opportunity to indulge your time a little more. We asked you if you could judge 5 of the great Korean startups, and you very kindly agreed to do so. So this is a treat that I would have loved. I think any entrepreneur would have loved to be able to pitch to all 3 Drapers at once. I don't think this is first time in history.
Our wives might think differently.
First time in history that the 3 generations of Drapers are on a stage, and first time in history that the 3 Drapers will be hearing a pitch together from 5 great startups. So, you ready?
Coming to a TV screen near you.
Exactly.
Should I remove?